My third guy plays some games.
Alright, hi y'all, Weather Guy here. We are back with some more Ace Attorney Chronicles. Feeling good. Let's see what Kazuma has to say. Excellent work, Rio. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. Is that how that works? I thought your heart went to your stomach, right? Heart in your mouth. That's crazy. That's like the world's worst hiccup, dude. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth like crazy. I was trying to think of another word turned into a Dr. Seuss rhyme, but I couldn't get it together. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. I love this dude's headband so much. I say it all the time, but his headband is sick. Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I will never want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was looking at my gun. Or the gun, rather. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. Naturally, I dove to pick it up. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a white sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Sorry, I got excited. I just saw I had to comment on a YouTube video. I don't get comments that often, so whenever I get a notice for one on my phone, I'm like, hell yeah, let's freaking go. Sorry. Thank you to people who comment. Y'all are the best. You really are. Commenting warms my heart. Fast thinking by the detective. He apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Oh, this is someone else. Oh, older man. Professor Mikitoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest, youngest stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study toward Great Britain being cancelled, which is so important, not this murder. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. Thank you, Kazuma. What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma? Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case, smiley face. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at Unity, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. Let's not forget who we're going up against. A gentlewoman whose involvement in our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubts that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you. Who's this girl? I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. I have to record this game in the daytime, because at night I have to be quiet when I record, right? Because I have a daughter sleeping behind the wall. You know? So, I have to record this in the daytime because I have to talk loudly and a lot. Holy moly. And by the way, I noticed, I should edit this in, I haven't edited the first 2 videos in the series yet. But I did check it out real quick, and I noticed that the audio is fudged up a bit for those. And it's something that I may not be able to fix. So, if so, the audio should be better this time. I should sound more like my normal self. Not that I sound great, but more of what you're used to. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Fantastic. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. He says partner so much that makes my heart warm, dude. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit them. I have a sword. Kazuma. I'll put the sword away then. What? Thank you, really. What for? Come on, butter me up. Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm really sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. I'm found guilty in this trial. He's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. This isn't just my battle anymore. We gotta get him to Britain. I hate that subplot so much. It's so stupid. Like, I think the Great Britain and the political tension is fine, but him not being able to go to Great Britain if we fail this case is so silly. And like, they put so much importance on it. Like, who gives a shit? I'll say the thank yous for after the trial. And we know that we're definitely, these guys not going to Britain. We need them the whole time, right? You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. I'm psycho. November, 12:09 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Back at it, baby. Click. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryu Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forge with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. You know what this voice sounds like? To me, at least. This voice for Alchie, it reminds me of, oh god, don't hate this, but Big Bang Theory, when, oh god, what's his name? What's the character's name? White guy, not White side Howard. When Howard does the impression of Sheldon, that's what this is like. Anyway, because he's like Sheldon for Halloween. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Rio. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student. And one who could arguably study harder too. Standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. So true, dude. We're all shocked, like it's such a crazy thing to say. Well said, Ryu, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Boy, let's take a look at Giselle. Yes! Your Excellency! Perfect. Perfect. How mysterious is she? Who is that? New music? Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea! They're obsessed, dude. True. No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival, but my true... Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, what are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. This is so cartoonish, dude. Is that true? Or are you asking again? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. No way! Did we really? You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a... God, this is the worst! Oh, look at her head! Oh man. I couldn't imagine. Actually, I could imagine. Never mind. This is how I think about my wife. She's lovely. Sorry, Rio, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. Oh, man. She speaks Simlish. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in UMay University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird song. Oh, I see. That's what it's simulating, is that she's speaking... Oh, because this game's originally Japanese, right? All this text that we've been reading has been Japanese, but she actually speaks English, so there would be language barrier there. I understand now, clearly. I thought she was, like, mumbling. I didn't realize I was calling the English language Simlish. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Rita. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. Man, sorry, I've been going on a lot of tangents already today. Have y'all seen Kung Pao, Into the Fist? If you don't know what that is a silly movie where it's an English dub over old Japanese movies that's edited together in a weird way. It also has a few scenes that were originally shot just for this film with a couple of American actors and stuff. Anyway, a lot of the jokes in this movie are with very bad dubs, right? And there's a couple of moments in the movie that really stand out. One is someone asks one of the side characters a question, and you see the guy's mouth moving for like a good 6 seconds, right? It's like, and then you hear the dub, I don't know. or another good one is main character, anytime he really wants someone to do something, he just says, I implore you to reconsider. And then of course the mouth doesn't match up. He's like yelling sometimes and stuff. I don't know. It's a good, you should watch it. It's old though. It's like 20 years old at this point, but it is maybe the funniest movie I've seen. It's up there. Holy cow. Anyway, that's what that reminds me of, is all the mumbling and then just she says yes. It's so good. Such a good bit. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Huh? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. You mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. No, more lies! Everybody's lying! How do you win a court case when everyone's lying? Order, order in court! Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. What? Does the home improvement thing. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testimony. Oh! No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine those whose words this court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryo. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit, I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words in the matter. It's ridiculous. If only I was able to lift up her dress, I could... Shut up. Shut up. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryo. I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. To do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, that little slick smile. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Fantastic. Have a sip before I drink real quick. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Okay. Let's go and start pressing. After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue. Is that right? No. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. Though it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only. Beef steak.
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? That was the wrong voice. And that was because he just had a tooth removed at a clinic, correct? That's right. Supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. That would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here, is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Hear me, what a harrowing experience. We have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. But the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Ooh. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryu, about the witness's last statement? That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. Could really use that phrase. Dretch. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that. I ordered a beef steak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
I think we just press every time. There doesn't seem to be a downside. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. But you're actually a detective. And the beef steak. That was for you, Miss Brett? Now we know this. The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is this lady's opinion. I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it. First time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Yeah, we got so sidetracked on this. Stupid. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument.
Yes!
That didn't happen at all. I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? This Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must also speak English. That's terrible. He's trying to say speak English, but if I try to say it as it's phonetically written there, I think it just comes off as sounding like let's say insensitive, right? So I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Oh, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. Okay. Let me look at these some more. Done. What's so interesting about this still is the seating, right? It doesn't make sense. Because, go back to this one. He's facing away from the table. He's sitting at her spot. It makes no sense at all. How could he ever turn to his seat when this seat is at her spot at the table? It makes no sense. Pretty cool. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I finished my coffee and stood up to leave. That little smile. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before our eyes. Press! Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady on the stand. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense! The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned, anyway. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Press! It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely, I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, I'm not. Well, that solves it. He asked her, she said no. You think she would lie? No chance. That's all you did? Just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The Honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing matter. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts! In other words, he wants evidence. Oh, I hate that. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. She was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Oh, wrong horse. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. Blech. Stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. The fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in your testimony isn't making me feel any better either. First thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Which we did. Do that, and an opening will present itself, I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner. It's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Okay. So, we already pressed this. I think we can go on from this one. Right? I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Let me... Can I just do this but not actually present? Okay. I'm trying to see if we can see both glasses of water at the table. We cannot.
Yes!
Ah! That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with the photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. I love that. That's my favorite animation of the game, that double hand slap. And look to the side of one of the hands. It's so good. It's like he's surprised by how hard he slapped his hand and it hurts a little. Well, that is, it's odd, very odd. Hear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryu, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be two. There should be two glasses of water on the table, not one. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over a minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. There should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me You can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Oh, he's... fuck you. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do you take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. I carried it for a minute. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. She noticeably does not have today, which could carry a gun. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. Like, no more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are we in agreement? Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. So you're right. I took the glass away in her handbag. The deeper significance there, it's the handbag! Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do you try to keep up? It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. Let me compare notes. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. I just wasn't going to say anything. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. Gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. True murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hasanaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? I'm dying. Still. I wonder what the significance of that is. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. Why did you get a chance to take a picture of her class? This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. This is tricky. I thought we had him. Oh, we had her. Thank you for helping to prove that. Now who knows? Ah! Order, order! Inspector Asanaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. Photograph of the handbag has been entered into the court record. Let's check that out. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Look at the court record real quick. Because this is interesting, because there's blood right here. Yeah, that's not interesting, I guess. I thought it was interesting, but I guess not. Still significant, though. Oh! Look at this shape. Where have we seen that shape? This. Aha! What does that mean? I have no clue. But it seems significant in some way. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As a photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Come on. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn these things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? Sorry, Ryu. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weaker meet while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? Zuma. Team are going to study in Great Britain. Shut up! I don't care. You're gonna go to jail for murder. Forget Kazuma's Great Britain thing. Holy hell. It's the best. Zuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. It means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little Ryu, having considered all of the evidence placed before you,
Yes!
I hereby find— Yes! What do we got? Wait, Your Excellency. Ryu? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. It's a photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance. There's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. Better know what you're doing, Ryu. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate. This isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. Only I can put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect, and I will use this hammer to bash your skull in. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Asanaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. What? Oh, it doesn't glow. What is this?
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Hear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was even unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? No possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Auchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. He knows we're getting close. Yes, get out of here. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryu? Do you believe this burn has something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. Or if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? We can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. If we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Mrs. Brett's face. Really? I had to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial.
Yes!
What's this, counsel? Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency, I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. We humans look at a scene when we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. You hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? Yes, baby.
Yes!
The beef steak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. Plate? Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape! Rio, you genius! You're spot on! Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Why is that significant? I'm not sure. But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hasanaga? Can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. The plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade. A burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it! Something isn't right here! As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. Yet Inspector Hasanaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before. That's right, and the strange thing is, the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day. I wonder if the professor was still numb from dental surgery. That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would without any question have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Yauchi? Well, yes, I suppose. And there's also the positioning of the plate. It doesn't make sense that he would burn himself on if he was sitting without the plate in front of him. Was he eating? The question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryo, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe... been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... was already dead? Was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Yes, it's only possible. The man was already dead. Already? Dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. Oh, that's sick. That's madness! Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Yauchi, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency... The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Ah, Miss Brett? You speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryo. Oh man. I think this is the place where we stop. We're an hour in. We're gonna get the second part of our testimony next time. Dude, I'm having so much fun with this game. I really am. I'm having a blast. But I can tell you another thing about this game is that I cannot record for a long period of time. Because it just hurts my voice after a while, constantly doing the different voices. So, be back next time. We'll hear the next part of our testimony. And things to consider. Since a lot of the time I don't talk very much during this, I just voice the lines, right? Things to consider are possibility of poison, right? Considering there was only one glass at the table. Um, I need to double check to see if the glass that was still on the table had been she had drunk from it. That would be significant. Um, yeah, and then I guess if he was poisoned, what was the why the gunshot, right? What would be the point of that? Um, maybe it all was to frame someone else. Maybe I don't know, and we don't know yet where the gun on the floor came. That's interesting. But yeah, that's all I got today. This game is so fun. Make sure like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, make sure that you are taking care of yourself, taking care of others. I'll see you next time. Peace out.